While I was paying homage to the Buddha on the mountain, a young nobleman barged in unexpectedly. He blushed and apologized. Yet I heard his thoughts. I've heard the princess is kind-hearted. I wonder if she'll blame me. I just didn't want to be framed by my elder brother, so I ended up in the wrong place by mistake. How should I apologize to make the princess happy? He didn't know that I had a dream in the dream. I followed the whispers of his heart to investigate, but ended up walking step by step toward a dead end. Eventually, father grew disgusted, my elder brother was deposed, and I was drowned in a pond. Only after death did I learn that the young master could make people hear his thoughts. It was by virtue of this very ability, he rose from being a bastard son to becoming the legitimate second son of the Marquis's household. Now, looking at the young gentleman before me, with red lips and white teeth, shy and coy, I smiled gently. Someone, apprehend the intruder and administer 30 strokes. 1. The young master was pressed onto a long bench, and the bamboo board came down on him with a series of sharp slaps. His mouth was gagged, his face flushed red, and sweat poured down like rain. Yet his inner thoughts never ceased for a moment. Woo-woo, I really didn't know this was a forbidden courtyard. If it weren't for fearing being framed by my elder brother, I wouldn't have wandered off. How can I face people afterward? I might as well just die. I only feel sorry for my mother, who is still waiting for me to return. His inner thoughts were quite interesting. If it weren't for that dream I had, I might have truly ended up as in the dream, thinking I had discovered a secret treasure and feeling sympathy for him. Little did I know, in this world, those who truly hold the reins are few, and many are merely pawns from beginning to end. After waking from the dream, I ordered someone to investigate him. His name is Wei He. On the surface, he is the second legitimate son of the Guangping Marquis residence. In reality, he is an illegitimate son raised by the Guangping Marquis. After his mother passed away, he was brought into the Wei family. He was initially raised as a common son. Later, he became increasingly favored by Lady Guangping, and eventually became her legitimate second son, receiving much affection. In contrast, Lady Guangping's actual son, Wei Xiao, was not so fortunate. In just a few short years, he went from being praised by everyone as a refined and virtuous young gentleman to being labeled as unruly, cruel, and consumed by jealousy. The transformation is truly thought-provoking. I have some speculations, but they cannot be verified. Today, when I came here to pay respects to the Buddha, I was already wondering whether Wei He would show up. Never thought everything would happen just as in my dream. Only this time, I made a different choice. Whether I can defy fate this time remains to be seen, but I'm really looking forward to it too. Waiting for Wei He to finish his 30 lashes, I looked up at him with a smile. Someone, carry him back to the Guangping Marquis's residence. Tell the Marquis that he trespassed into the forbidden courtyard and spied on the princess. I request that the Marquis give me an explanation. Wei He's expression froze for a moment. How could this happen? It shouldn't be like this. He anxiously defended himself. Your Highness, I didn't mean to spy on the princess. I just took the wrong path. My maid, Xue Ling, spoke up. Your Highness, it would be better to quietly resolve this matter. If word gets out, it will harm your Highness's reputation. It's not worth tarnishing your Highness's name for someone like this. I raised my eyes to look at her. Xue Ling was half-crouching, appearing particularly sincere, as if she were genuinely considering my interests. But in the dream it was her and Wei He working together, one inside, one outside. They drove me to a dead end. I did not refute Xue Ling, nor did I ask her to rise. Instead, I spoke indifferently. Add 10 more strokes. Yes. The sound of the board striking flesh rang out again. Zhu Ling half-squatted, sweat beading on her forehead. It was both urgent and embarrassing, and Wei His inner voice finally quieted down. I suspect that if it hadn't stopped, it would have been cursing me. That would have been a sure path to self-destruction. The 10-strike punishment ended. Wei His mouth corner bleeding, eyes closed and unconscious. I got up and glanced at his blooded buttocks, then clicked my tongue. How dirty. His eyelashes trembled slightly, his head slumped, and he really passed out. I had someone escort him back all the way. Gongs were beaten and drums were struck, with flowers scattered to clear the path. If anyone asked, they were told the truth. I believe that by noon, Everyone would know that the Marquis of Guangping's household had produced a lecher who dared to trespass into the forbidden courtyard and spy on the royal princess. Deal with this matter. I went in to dress up. The West Wing room that Wei He mentioned, I'm quite interested in it. In my dream, I not only forgave Wei he also ordered someone to investigate the West Wing. Sure enough, a courtesan was hiding in that room, but the dream passed too quickly. Exactly how it happened could not be explored. All I remember is that everyone believed this was a scheme by Wei Xiao to frame Wei He. Wei Xiao was thus expelled from the Wei family, the title of heir to the Marquis residence fell to Wei He. Now, of course, I must go take a look at what that courtesan looks like. I've never seen this in my life. I want to broaden my horizons. I disguised myself as a man, dressed as a handsome young master, and walked out with confidence. Everyone followed me out. I stopped and gave Schweling a calm glance. Shuangwei beside me immediately said, "Keep squatting. As the saying goes, when the master is humiliated, the servant dies." Seeing your master insulted and still pleading for the lecher, I really don't know what you're thinking. Reflect carefully on who your master is. Well said. I've always preferred Zueling's gentleness and found Shuangwei noisy, but I have to admit, what Shuangwei said just now truly pleased me. Schwelling's eyes were red, tears falling drop by drop onto the ground. I used to hate seeing her suffer the most, but now, stop crying, it's a bit ugly. Zueling was startled, so startled that tears fell. I smiled slightly and strode away with my head held high. I'm going to broaden my horizons. Arriving at the West Wing room, I had just pushed the door open and stepped inside. A girl immediately rushed over and hugged me tightly. "Sir, please save me. Someone drugged me. I beg you to save me. I will remember your great kindness for the rest of my life." As she spoke, she started reaching for my clothes. I pressed her hand down firmly. I curled my fingers twice toward the back. 2 guards immediately entered. I smiled and said, "What's the fun in just 2 people playing? Let's all 4 of us play together." 3. Her hazy gaze suddenly cleared. She shoved me away. "Are you crazy? This wasn't what we agreed on. Weren't we just pretending? If you go back on your word, I'm leaving." I flashed a sinister grin. What was the agreement again? This palace, this young master, can do as I please. Don't be ungrateful, you liar. You clearly promised that if I just acted for a bit, I could later claim it was young Master Wei who ordered it. Why are you going back on your word? Move aside, let me go. She mustered all her courage and dashed out from between me and the guards, but as soon as she rushed out, she stopped in her tracks, because the area outside the room was already surrounded by people, including the very Wei Xiao she had mentioned. Everyone looked at her with a mixture of astonishment and disgust. She turned back in astonishment, asking dryly, "You, who exactly are you?" Shuangwei had already thoughtfully ordered someone to bring a chair over. I sat down with a calm expression. Shuangwei struck a pose befitting a senior maid, proud and haughty. "Princess Yongkang is here. Why aren't you kneeling?" The woman's knees suddenly gave way, and she knelt down in confusion, trembling all over. I let out a soft laugh, lightly tapping the armrest with my finger, and said gently, "For the sake of your beauty, I shall grant you a chance to redeem yourself. Speak the truth now, and I may spare your life. Otherwise, I have no choice but to charge you with the crime of deceiving the monarch." The woman trembled, her eyes unable to conceal her panic. Eventually, she chose to live. "Princess, please spare my life. Someone found me and gave me 100 taels of silver. They said that second young Master Wei would come in soon, and if I just hugged him, someone would come to catch us in the act shortly. At that time, I just need to firmly insist that it was young Master Wei who instructed me to deliberately frame second young Master Wei. I was only doing a job for money. I never intended to insult the princess. Please spare my life, Your Highness." The crowd erupted in an uproar. People whispered to each other, discussing the matter fervently. Those who knew Wei Xiao looked at him with sympathy. I raised my hand and ordered someone to take the woman away for further questioning. Then, I turned my curious gaze toward Wei Xiao. "Young Master Wei, someone wants to harm you." Wei Xiao pondered thoughtfully, then bowed respectfully. "I thank Your Highness for saving my life." The matter was settled. I no longer have the heart for Buddhist worship. I ordered someone to bring the abbot here so he can thoroughly investigate. A fine Buddhist temple, How did it become a den of filth, allowing people to engage in such disgraceful acts here? If the abbot cannot manage the temple properly, it might as well be handed over to someone who can. The old monk's forehead was dripping with beads of sweat. Immediately after I left, the temple was closed for a thorough investigation. Meanwhile, I had already reached the foot of the mountain. News from the Guangping Marquis residence had also arrived. The Guangping Marquis entered the palace to plead guilty. Madame hurriedly went to fetch the doctor. Wei He wept, pleading his innocence. Wei Xiao was punished by kneeling in the ancestral hall. Hearing this, I furrowed my brows. I don't understand. I am greatly shocked, Shuang Wei whispered. I heard from the wife of Marquis Guangping that the eldest son of the Wei family didn't take good care of his younger brother, which led to his brother trespassing into the forbidden courtyard and being punished by the princess. She also said that he colluded with a woman of ill repute to ruin his brother's reputation, which is why he was punished by kneeling in the ancestral hall. Me, I asked with difficulty, then is the son really hers by blood, or does Meinreding truly have the power to bewitch people's hearts? Shuangwei seemed thoughtful. I believe there is something very suspicious about this matter. Xueling remained honest and silent, lowering her gaze and trying her best to minimize her presence. I have served her for many years, never expecting her to be so tactful and aware of the situation. I returned to the palace. Brother Crown Prince was waiting for me outside the palace. Seeing me, he immediately strode over. His gaze swept over me with concern, and only when he saw I was unharmed did he finally breathe a sigh of relief. Xuan, are you all right? For I'm fine now. But I could still see he was so happy in my dream. Even though I was despised by my father, the Crown Prince still protected me everywhere. In the end, he was deposed, and I was killed. The one who successfully ascended the throne was Prince Duan. The first thing Prince Duan did after ascending the throne was to reward Wei He, elevating the Marquis residence to a duke's mansion. Wei He married Xueling, creating a beautiful tale of childhood sweethearts. That's when I found out. Before Xueling entered the palace, she lived next door to Wei He's mother and had grown up with Wei He since childhood. Later, Wei He went to the Marquis's residence. She entered the palace. The bond between the two since childhood was unbreakable, not even by thunder. Yet I was foolishly overconfident, believing that our years of companionship could surpass the childhood bond. I never doubted Xueling. Damn it, I took my brother's arm and smiled. I'm fine, I'm okay, but I'm still puzzled. How could a young master quietly avoid the secret guards and enter my courtyard without a sound? Could it be that he knows martial arts? The Crown Prince's eyes narrowed slightly. Xuan, it was my oversight. I will give you an explanation about this matter. The fact that the guards of the princess's residence had been infiltrated was a very serious issue. The power of Prince Duan is far more terrifying than we realize. I went to pay my respects to father. Father had just finished dealing with Marquis Guangping. Seeing me peeking around, he said irritably, "Come out at once." All right. I hurried over and rushed into my father's arms. At that time, he still doted on me very much. Not the cold and ruthless emperor from the dream. He cherished my mother deeply, and after her passing, he continued to care for me and my elder brother, the Crown Prince. Just the same, it's hard for me to imagine what my life would be like without his love and protection. It would feel as if the sky had fallen. I couldn't help but feel my eyes welling up. My father, the emperor, grew a bit flustered. What on earth happened? Did that boy from the Wei family truly offend you? I shook my head. That's not the case. It's just that I find it very strange. It was clearly Wei He who offended me. So why is the Guangping Marquis mansion punishing Wei Xiao and making him kneel in the ancestral hall? Does the Guangping Marquis look down on me? Does he not trust my judgment, or is he spoiling his concubine and neglecting his wife, favoring his second son while blaming his eldest? The emperor's eyes suddenly turned cold. Favoring concubines over the wife, this was something he could not tolerate. The empress held an extremely high status in his heart. Whoever dares to favor a concubine over his wife is trampling upon the ancestral laws and regulations. That night, an imperial edict reprimanding him was issued to the Marquis's residence. The Marquis of Guangping immediately trembled and brought Wei Xiao out from the ancestral hall, then sent Wei He inside. Shuangwei and I laughed and talked about this matter. Shuang Wei clapped her hands in celebration. What a relief! That wretched boy, relying on his decent looks, just barged in recklessly. Who knows if he was trying to use such a method to seduce the princess? If everyone used the excuse of taking a wrong turn like he did, wouldn't the world be thrown into chaos? Those who behave properly end up suffering losses and dying. I praised. Well said, you deserve a reward. I took off the golden hairpin from my head and pinned it onto Shuang Wei's. She beamed with joy and immediately ran to look in the mirror. Such a good girl, lively and charming. How wonderful she should be in a dream. How could one be strangled to death? How could Xueling bring herself to do it? I sneered coldly. Ha, that kid won't live through the night. Shuang Wei suddenly turned her head. Your Highness. I nodded and whispered softly in her ear. You little beauty, you are truly lovely. Shuang Wei blushed with shyness. Your Highness, you really are. We laughed and joked around. In the mirror, Xueling's frozen face was revealed. She forced herself to stay calm, tidied up her things, and excused herself to go to the storeroom to fetch some items before walking out. Not long after, the secret guard reported that Xueling had met with someone. The dust has finally settled. She has cut off her only path to survival, and I can finally ring the death knell. 5. By the time I arrived, Xueling had already been taken down. She knelt on the ground, her face filled with sorrow. Princess, I really only exchanged a few idle words with someone. I didn't say a single inappropriate thing. I've been by your side for 10 years. You know me better than anyone. 10 years, that's quite a long time, but the facts are right in front of us. Time is the most useless thing. Sometimes it crumbles before love at first sight. Sometimes it collapses in the face of a life-saving favor. And other times it retreats step by step before a childhood sweetheart. The only thing it truly accomplishes is making people grow old. I looked directly at her and said calmly, what's there to panic about? Did I say anything? Are you in such a hurry because you're afraid I won't believe you? Or are you afraid that if you die, you won't be able to see your beloved? Zueling was left speechless. She probably guessed it. I know much more than she thinks I do. She finally shed real tears. Princess, Shuang Wei, furious, slapped her across the face. Ah, you crazy. How could you, a man, sell the princess? We've been together for 10 years. Have you forgotten the days we spent together? After she finished speaking, she turned and knelt on the ground, tears welling in her eyes. Princess, please give her a chance. She's just foolish, never having seen a man before. She was deceived into thinking it was true love. I beg you to spare her life. My dear Shuang Wei, that's exactly what a person of sentiment and righteousness would do in a dream. The story ends after Xueling and Wei He get married, but one is a maidservant sold by her master, the other a key minister who helped Prince Duan ascend to power. There is an imbalance of wealth, social status, and power between them. I am not very optimistic about her married life. She is betting on a man's conscience, but she herself lacks a conscience. How can you expect others to have conscience? But I'm still willing to give Shuang Wei some face. I'll give you a chance, if you can convince Wei He to marry you within a month. I shall personally seek an edict from His Majesty to fulfill this affection of yours. Zueling breathed a sigh of relief. She knelt and bowed to the ground. Thank you for your great kindness, Princess. This humble servant will always remember your grace. Forget it. Haven't remembered it in 10 years. Can you remember it just for a man? Don't fool me. I had her think of a way to marry him, but not with any good intentions. I just wanted to see a joke. I turned and walked away. She raised her voice behind me, pleading earnestly. Princess, whether you believe it or not, I have never thought of harming you. I know my status is lowly and I cannot marry into the Marquis's household. I thought that if you were with him, I could see him every day. I only had this little bit of selfishness. Nothing more. You are a wonderful princess. It's just that I am not worthy. Tears streamed down her face. My heart felt as cold as ice. Evening. Shuang Wei slept restlessly. I wasn't very settled either. I had another dream. In the dream, Xueling and Wei He were getting married. Wei He lifted the bridal veil, smiling gently, but Xueling's smile was laced with tears. She gripped the hairpin and suddenly plunged it into Wei He's neck. Blood splattered onto her snow-white face. She stabbed repeatedly, her expression tinged with a hint of madness. You promised me you would spare the princess's life, so why did you kill her? Why? Waking from the dream, the sky was already bright. I pondered that dream. Schwelling might have been telling the truth, but falling into the abyss has no end. At first, I thought it was just a small mistake, but later, you will be dragged into an abyss by these small mistakes made one after another, and betrayal is betrayal. Comparing betraying by 50% to betraying by 100%, it doesn't make you any nobler. 6. I bought the house next to Guangping Marquis's mansion at a high price and moved into the room next to Wei. His only a wall apart. Wei, his inner thoughts could clearly reach my ears. Damn it, Zhao Xuan can clearly hear my thoughts. Why isn't she falling for it? Could it be that I'm not acting convincingly enough? Damn it, my mother fell for it. Why can't she? This bitch. One day, I'll make sure you die by my hands. Me. Ugly as you are, you still have such beautiful dreams. I wonder if brother and that maid have succeeded. If they really have, mother must hate brother so much. The son covets his mother's personal maid, the very beauty his father once praised. Ha ha ha, big brother is done for. What a shame. I have an injury on my backside, so I can't watch the show. Me, quite capable of stirring up trouble. When my secret guard arrived, Wei Xiao had already knocked out the maid who had been drugged and placed her in a cold water tub. He himself staggered toward the courtyard and without hesitation jumped into the pond. I felt somewhat relieved. Wei Xiao is much smarter than I imagined. That actually saved me a lot of trouble. But causing trouble, give and take is the way to go. I had someone catch a snake and secretly place it in Wei his room. The weather is a bit cold. The snake automatically seeks out warm places to burrow into. Not long after, I heard Wei his scream, "Snake, snake, 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 there's a snake. You can't go in there, ouch, that hurts, help me." I rested my chin and pondered, where exactly was he referring to? Could it be there? Didn't notice when I caught it. I had no idea it was such a mischievous snake. The Wei family was bustling with activity. First, the eldest son fell into the water, then the second young master was offended by a snake. The wife of the Marquis of Guangping wept and wailed, repeatedly lamenting the misfortune of the family, and planned to go to the mountain to worship the Bodhisattva tomorrow. Listening from next door, I felt a sense of regret, unable to witness the drama firsthand. So urgent. 7. Things often don't get worse, they only get worse. While the Guangping Marquis's residence was in chaos, rumors were spreading like wildfire outside the mansion. Everyone says that when the second young master Wei barged into the Buddhist temple that day, it wasn't for the princess, but for a little palace made by the princess's side. The two had grown up together since childhood. Unfortunately, one was a fine young master from a noble household, and the other was a lowly palace maid. Their statuses were worlds apart, making it impossible for them to be together. Unable to bear the longing any longer, the young master eventually barged in, just to catch a glimpse of his beloved. Even though he was beaten for it, but it eased the pain of longing. These rumors are spreading everywhere. I couldn't help frowning upon hearing them. Sure enough, tales of romance spread the fastest. Even though I had someone deliberately circulate other rumors, but only this one spread the widest. That's experience. Next time, whatever you spread, better include some romantic entanglements. Schwelling heard the rumors. She was a bit flustered at first, probably afraid that Wei he would think she was the one who passed it on, but soon, she calmed down. Things had come to this point. She realized she had no way out. Being straightforward is the best course of action. If Lady Guangping truly understands the situation, she should send someone to explain the circumstances and marry Schwelling. After all, coveting a princess and being childhood sweethearts with a palace made by the princess's side are two different offenses. The former is a bold and audacious libertine, the latter is a true romantic. Zueling eagerly awaits. During those days her mood was clearly very good. Even when Lian Shuangwei mocked her, she could accept it calmly. She openly showed me the letter she had written to Wei He. It described her childhood experiences with Wei He and also mentioned her difficulties in the palace. If Wei He truly cares for her, he will understand what she means. She was full of confidence. Her cheeks were flushed. "Your Highness, I am a selfish person, but in the palace, I really can't stay any longer. I am seeking my own future, but I never intended to harm the princess. I have learned the ways of a matchmaker. Please forgive me." "Oh, matchmaker, that's a traitor who betrays their master." She has learned the wrong way. The corner of my mouth lifted slightly as I looked at her with pity in my eyes. Then do you know that the original work of the Romance of the Western Chamber is called The Tale of Ying. In the Tale of Ying, the young lady, with the help of her maid, exchanged tokens with the scholar and pledged their lives to each other, but the scholar later changed his heart, calling Ying the most exquisite beauty in the world, yet also a demon who would bring disaster to the nation, abandoning her after seducing her. Later generations felt that Ying was truly pitiful, so they rewrote it as the Western Chamber. They portrayed the scholar as a kind and loyal man of virtue, but you've been in the palace, you're used to seeing people's hearts. Guess, in this world, are there more scholars like the one in the Tale of Ying or more like the one in the Romance of the Western Chamber? Zueling's expression changed, her gaze was blank, her fingers tightly clutched the handkerchief. Servant, doesn't know, now you know. Shuangwei angrily raised her palm behind Xueling's back, then let it fall. Lifted, then set down finally, turning away, he let out a long sigh. What a sin. Zueling quieted down, she waited quietly for news from the Wei family. Perhaps she wanted to see whether Wei was the scholar from the Tale of Ying or the one from the Western Chamber. Yet, she was destined to be disappointed. When Lady Guangping prayed to Buddha, she drew a very unlucky fortune slip. The fortune-telling monk said that the Marquis's household needed a joyous event to dispel the bad luck. After descending from the mountain, the Marchioness of Guangping began arranging a marriage for Wei He. Matchmakers came and went from the Marquis's residence. Very quickly, the wife of Marquis Guangping had already found her candidate, a legitimate daughter from a family of a fourth-rank official. Coinciding with the princess's spring banquet, I brought Shuangwei and Xueling to attend the banquet. I saw the wife of Marquis Guangping, Wei Xiao, and Wei He saw me and quickly stepped forward a few paces. When he was almost in front of me, he shyly stepped back again, looking like someone nervous about returning home. Quite the actor. Actually, the princess is truly beautiful. Ah, what a pity. It seems the princess really dislikes me. What should I do to win the princess's favor? I really didn't mean it last time. A pitiful appearance. He really should let Xueling hear what he's thinking. Unfortunately, he can only let one person hear his thoughts at a time once designated. The person cannot be changed for 3 months, so it's best to resolve the matter within 3 months. I smiled at him slightly, broke a flower from the tree, tossed it on the ground, and turned to leave. After passing an intersection, I looked back. Wei He had already picked up the flower, his eyes sparkling, looking just like someone who cherished flowers. I shivered. In a dream. Was this how I was defeated? That's a bit disgusting. Zueling's face turned pale. I wonder how the matchmaker felt when she saw Zhong Sheng flirting with Ying. I can't understand it, but with respect. At the banquet, I met the legitimate daughter of the fourth-rank official's family. She is a good girl, sitting quietly, speaking gently, behaving virtuously and politely. Such a woman entering the Guangping Marquis's mansion would be devoured until not even bones remain. Right. She glanced at Wei He from the corner of her eye, then quickly looked away, a shy blush spreading across her face. When teased by others, she covered her face with a round fan, shyly lowering her head and revealing a stretch of snow-white neck. She probably had some feelings for Wei He. Wei He had a handsome appearance. His mother was an outstanding beauty, otherwise she wouldn't have been kept by Lord Guangping outside the main residence. He inherited his mother's beauty, with jet-black pupils and gentle, affectionate eyebrows and eyes, making him a handsome young master. Wei He had an excellent reputation before rumors of him spying on me spread. Many young ladies had developed feelings for him. Even now there are some rumors going around. There are also many people who believe them with doubts. It's necessary to add fuel to the fire and make the rumors become true. I deliberately walked to a place where no one was around. Wei He emerged from behind the rockery and, before I could speak, bowed to me first. Princess, I apologize to you. That day, I was reckless and offended you. It was my fault. Please forgive me, Princess. I had no choice but to stop you today, Princess. As there is something I must say, however, I just don't know how to phrase it to earn your trust. Oh, playing the game of playing hard to get, aren't you? I widened my eyes and followed up with his question. What is it? You may speak freely. He hesitated, appearing deeply troubled. How should I tell the princess that Prince Duan buried a voodoo doll to curse Prince Tai? If I say it, will the princess think I'm trying to sow discord? If I don't say what needs to be said, I won't be able to live with my conscience. I only hope the princess can believe me and not let down my sincere intentions. He gathered his courage and solemnly said, Your Highness, I happen to learn of a secret. There seems to be forbidden items at Prince Duan's residence. I truly have no way to reach His Highness the Crown Prince, so I can only ask Your Highness to relay the message on my behalf. Please, Your Highness, you must believe me. He bowed deeply, truly sincere. In a dream there was indeed such a scene. Wei he led me to investigate Prince Duan. I went to investigate, and indeed it was so, but when I brought people to arrest him, the evidence had vanished finally. I resented myself for giving away the game. Father Emperor thought I had falsely accused Prince Duan, and was greatly enraged. Eldest Prince Brother desperately interceded for me. Prince Duan, however, acted as if he were the wronged party, gaining ample favor in Father Emperor's eyes. The two of them really set up a clever scheme. I gave him a deep, meaningful look. Second young Master Wei, come a little closer. This princess still has some details she wishes to clarify. He smiled and stepped forward. I raised my foot and swiftly kicked him into the water. The splash startled a flock of water birds into flight. It also drew the attention of many people. Wei he knew how to swim, and he struggled to swim back to shore. I ordered someone to fetch a long pole and beat him back into the water. I should have had the guards go down and hold his head underwater, making him swallow water, but the weather was too cold, and I didn't want to freeze my loyal guards. He got off too easily. Everyone rushed over in shock. Lady Guangping panicked. She sternly shouted to stop them. Princess Yongkang, what is the meaning of this? Even if my son has offended you, you cannot push him to the brink of death. With such actions, how can you face the Emperor's favor and the Queen's reputation? 9. She truly loves Wei he deeply. Even the offense of disrespecting superiors was disregarded under the boundless love of a devoted mother. Unfortunately, it was directed at the wrong person. I raised my hand slightly and said calmly, repeat to the Lady of Guangping exactly what Prince Wei's second son just said to me. Speak louder, so that everyone can hear and not think I am an unreasonable person. Under Shuangwei's direction, a dozen palace maids stood in a row and loudly repeated. Second young Master Wei told the princess that forbidden objects were buried in the Duan Prince's mansion to curse His Highness the Crown Prince. Second young Master Wei told the princess that forbidden objects were buried in the Duan Prince's mansion to curse His Highness the Crown Prince. Second young Master Wei told the princess. The palace maids repeated it over and over again. A loud voice echoed through the air. It startled the birds in the trees. It also made the flowers on the trees fall. I felt somewhat relieved. All conspiracies should be exposed under the sun. The wife of Marquis Guangping looked stunned. She shouted as if on the verge of collapse. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. How could my son say such things? Princess, there must be some misunderstanding. Please spare my life. Let my son come up first. If he is truly at fault, I will personally bring him to apologize to the princess. While trying to calm me down, she suddenly turned to Wei Xiao and scolded him harshly. Are you blind? Why don't you hurry down and save your brother? You just going to watch him die? Truly selfless for the sake of an illegitimate child. He doesn't care about his own son's life on such a cold day. Even ducks would complain about their feet getting cold. If a person goes down there, they might catch a chill and get sick. Wei Xiao's face was pale. He walked towards the edge of the pond, but when he reached the edge of the pond, he turned around and knelt down. Mother, if my brother truly said such words, he deserves this punishment. He sowed discord between Prince Duan and His Highness the Crown Prince, defaming Prince Duan, disregarding the safety of the Marquis residence. The princess's punishment of him is justified. The princess is kind-hearted and would not ignore his life or death. Mother, if you truly care for second brother, let him endure this punishment once. The Marchioness of Guangping widened her eyes, her face flushed with anger. You wretched creature, how could I have given birth to such an unkind and unjust thing? The scolding was extremely harsh. Did she not know that such an evaluation, if spread, Wei Xiao probably won't be able to hold his head up for the rest of his life. Even his official career will be affected. Just at that moment, plop sound, a figure quickly swam to Wei Yi's side. It's Xueling, she tugged at Wei Yi, her eyes pleading with me in the water, slowly pulling him. She swam toward the shore. I raised my hand, and the attendant stopped striking the bamboo pole with the help of the crowd. The two of them scrambled ashore in a sorry state. Xueling, holding Wei Yi, knelt quietly before me. Her clothes were soaked through, and her small face was frozen to a bluish-purple hue, yet her expression showed no sign of regret. I told her to make Wei Yi marry her within a month. She didn't disappoint me. She really did it. She even gained the favor of Lady Guangping once again, in full view of everyone. The wife of the Marquis of Guangping could not refuse. What a clever scheme, I hope. Her married life is everything she desires. The crowd dispersed. I had someone deliver a message to the legitimate daughter of that fourth-rank official's family. I'll arrange a good match for her. If she already has someone in her heart, she can also ask me to officiate the marriage. This is, in a way, my compensation to her. Back to the palace. Shuangwei, unable to bear it any longer, slapped Xueling. She cried and said, "You will regret this, Zhu Zueling, you big idiot. TSK, my dear girl, you're really angry. You've even started cursing." 10. What happened at the banquet quickly spread throughout the streets and alleys. Prince Duan was finally exposed before everyone. In a dream, Prince Duan had been hiding very well all along. In the end, when the truth was revealed, he finally showed his true colors. All along, he had been acting like a virtuous gentleman, wronged yet magnanimous enough to let go of my evil deeds. But this time, he won't have it easy. Father really ordered a search of Prince Duan's residence. No evidence of witchcraft or curses was found. Instead, a register was discovered. It contained a list of spies he had planted in various mansions. The register clearly documented the spies he had placed in my residence, the Crown Prince's residence, and even within the palace. This offended the Emperor's taboo. The Emperor had always believed that the Crown Prince's position was extremely secure. He had always felt that his sons were very reassuring, truly embodying brotherly love and respect. It was absolutely impossible for fratricide to occur. Never in my wildest dreams. Prince Duan gave him a surprise. This roster was slammed hard by the Emperor father onto Prince Duan's head. Prince Duan's head didn't break. The Emperor was still not satisfied. He threw another teacup at him. Prince Duan dared not dodge. In the end, he emerged with blood streaming down his head, was placed under house arrest for 6 months, and had his salary suspended for 3 years. This punishment is nothing for a prince, but it serves as a signal. The Crown Prince's position is secure, and no one should harbor any ambitions. Anyone who dares to offend will have Prince Duan as a warning. When Prince Duan left, he gave me a long look. I smiled faintly at him. "Brother Duan Wang, don't be afraid. I'll plead for you in front of Father Emperor. Father Emperor won't bear to keep you locked up for so long." He smiled at me and strode away. "Oh ho, not bad, quite spirited. Why didn't Father Emperor just smash this wicked thing to death?" Father Emperor summoned me inside. As soon as I entered, I saw shattered cups and dishes scattered all over the floor. Father Emperor sat angrily on the dragon throne, looking as if he had a headache. I hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward to press my father's head down. As long as he doesn't punish me, he's still a good father. Father closed his eyes. The cold and stern aura around him faded. His body relaxed, finally resembling a real father. After a long while, he waved his hand. I stepped aside, obediently watching him. Father Emperor sighed deeply. Was Father Emperor wrong? Why would second brother do such a thing? In the past, he was so obedient, so I bestowed upon him the title Duan. Does he even understand what this title truly means? My heart was filled with mixed emotions. She really is quite well behaved, isn't she? Even when killing me, her face was adorned with a graceful smile. I thought for a moment, then said frankly, "Father Emperor, second brother is the only prince among all the royal sons who has been granted a title. You are indeed different towards him." The Emperor's figure froze for a moment. He summoned the eunuch in charge of writing. "Draft an edict to revoke the title of Prince Duan. Change his fief from Chen to Liangju. Chen is prosperous. Its output is enough to support second brother's entire family for hundreds of years. But Liangju is different, so poor, needs government funding for relief every year. Second brother is really finished this time. I'm overjoyed. Father lightly rebuked me, taking pleasure in others' misfortune, adding fuel to the fire. You've caused such a big commotion, disregarding fraternal affection. You are also punished with 3 months' salary deduction. And about the matter concerning the Guangping Marquis residence. Father Emperor fell silent for a moment. He probably figured it out from that list of student assignments. Last time, Wei Haneng was able to barge into the courtyard where I was worshipping Buddha. It was definitely not a coincidence. It was that guard who let him through, and the guard is a man of Prince Duan. What Prince Duan truly intends to scheme for is my marriage. The Emperor's face turned cold. The Marquis of Guangping's household truly has the audacity. 11. I left the palace. The Marquis of Guangping was stripped of his official position. From a marquis wielding real power, he has become an idle marquis. He doesn't even have the qualification to attend court sessions anymore. The Marquis of Guangping really wants to give Wei He a good beating. But Wei He is barely alive now. He had not yet recovered from the injuries inflicted by the rod, and he had been soaking in the water for so long. After returning, he developed a high fever. Even now, the high fever has not subsided. The lady of Guangping who sincerely prayed for Wei He. What a good mother, yet I always find it so ironic. I went to the Guangping whose residence to deliver the imperial decree. Father has decreed that Xueling shall be betrothed to Wei He. Marquis Guangping reluctantly accepted the decree, forcing a smile toward me. Your Highness, how should we proceed with this matter? I said indifferently. I had the Imperial Astronomical Bureau check the calendar, and tomorrow is an auspicious day. We'll keep things simple then, just have someone from your manor bring her over. Is it too hasty? I looked at him with a half smile. Your Highness, how exactly do you plan to make a grand celebration? Marquis Guangping furrowed his brows, pondered for a moment, then let out a long sigh. Then, as the princess wishes, let everything be kept simple. He probably thought of the current situation of the Guangping Marquis's mansion. His father, the emperor, dislikes him. The crown prince dislikes him. He was stripped of his real power once again. He is openly a supporter of Prince Duan. Whoever attends his wedding banquet could potentially be his accomplice. My father is waiting to reprimand them. Who would dare come under such circumstances? I wished to stay as far away from him as possible. I wandered around the city for a few rounds and quietly returned to the residence next to that of Marquis Guangping. Inside the room, Wei His inner voice came through. He must have just regained consciousness. The curses were quite filthy. Bitch, 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 go die, go die, go die. I want to replace the person who can hear my thoughts. Why can't I replace them? I want to advance my points. Can you not be so rigid? Hey, hey, come out, come out. Damn it, how am I supposed to complete tasks like this? How can I earn points? He was talking to something called the system, but clearly, his points were insufficient, and he was restricted by the system. He vented loudly in his heart, like a powerless madman. This was the kind of person Xueling was going to marry. How pitiful. Childhood is too distant. Like a beautiful bubble floating with a rainbow glow, it shatters at the slightest touch. She will regret it in the evening. Xueling had already packed her belongings and came to bid me farewell. She knew that I would not be there to see her off on her wedding day. She kowtowed 3 times outside the door. First, I wish the princess health and longevity. May the princess be happy and free from worries. May the princess have all her wishes fulfilled. I, your servant, have wronged you in this life. In the next life, I shall repay you even if I must become an ox or a horse. Early the next morning, she left the palace. The Hu family's sedan chair was already waiting outside the palace. Seeing her come out alone, without any attendants to escort her or dowry items to accompany her, everyone's eyes showed obvious contempt and disdain. Everyone will know that I despise her. A palace maid with no support, a maid who has betrayed her mistress. Her future is almost clearly bleak. The sound of beating drums comes from afar. I woke up for a moment, then fell back asleep, sleeping until noon before leaving the palace. Passing by the former Duan Prince's mansion, I saw the plaque had already been taken down. The empty doorway looked strangely eerie. It could be even weirder. I had someone catch some mice at night and place them on the eaves above the door. And also scattered some grains. Within a few days, there was a pile of droppings there. Looks so ugly. I am completely satisfied. Not long after, Prince Duan was sent to his fiefdom of Liangju, and was ordered by his father the emperor never to leave the fiefdom for the rest of his life. He is completely cut off from the imperial throne. 12. My brother the crown prince and I raised our cups in celebration at Fuyao Tower, celebrating the downfall of Prince Duan, also celebrating the smooth opportunity to uncover a large number of people with ill intentions. I told him everything I had seen in my dream. He never doubted me. He gently stroked my hair, his eyes full of distress. Xuan, you've suffered. Yeah, this dream was so scary. I might need to buy a bunch of jewelry to ease my nerves. Eldest prince brother. He was dragged by me to go shopping all day. The next day, I visited him again to extend an invitation. He voluntarily gave me a pile of silver notes. You go ahead and browse on your own, buy whatever catches your eye. Don't worry about saving money for your brother. Consider this compensation for not being able to accompany you shopping. If it's not enough, just ask your brother for more. And so I took that 30,000 taels of silver notes. I walked around the treasure pavilion and then came out again. Once the silver notes entered my pocket, they were mine. Spending my own money to buy things felt a bit painful. 13. The Marquis of Guangping intended to request a title for his heir. The Marquis of Guangping wanted to abandon Wei He and instead request a title for Wei Xiao, but the Marquis's wife insisted on requesting a title for Wei He. The two had a heated argument. The Marquis of Guangping angrily cursed, "Are you insane? Wei He is an illegitimate child, born to a mistress. Xiao is your own flesh and blood. She is the one who came out of your womb. What kind of mother in this world acts like you?" The wife of Marquis Guangping was taken aback for a moment, as if hypnotizing herself, and said, "Didn't you want me to be virtuous, kind, and dignified? In the past, my favoritism towards Hia was something you never noticed. Now you come out to scold me. What were you doing earlier? To me, they are all my children." Xiao has always been jealous by nature and used to bully Hia in the past. If he becomes the heir, what chance will Hia have to survive in this Marquis's household? Hia's reputation is already ruined. He cannot become an official or pursue the imperial examinations. The wife he married was also ungrateful and disloyal, unable to provide him with any support. If I, as his mother, do not plan for him, where in this world will there be a place for him? I don't care. This position of heir must belong to Hia. If you insist on choosing Xiao, then let us divorce. They don't know. When they said these words, Wei He and Wei Xiao were both standing outside the courtyard on the other side of the wall. It was clearly audible. Wei He smiled at Wei Xiao and said, "Brother, I'm sorry. I also wish mother would dote on me a little less. Unfortunately, it seems I can't do it. Please forgive me, brother. I can only thank you for your generosity in my next life." Brother, this despicable man, so annoying. How could Wei Xiao bear it? Beat him up. I was in the dark, itching to hit him, especially his inner thoughts were even more vicious. Ha ha ha, how can there be such a big fool in this world? Mother is a fool, and so is her son, deservedly. This position of heir will fall into my hands. Those who have been controlled by mind reading will all become my puppets from now on. I need to quickly complete tasks to earn some points and switch to another mind reader. One day, Prince Duan and I will surely make a comeback. Securing the position of Crown Prince is the first step. Let's plan the rest later. I couldn't take it anymore. I was about to put on a gunny sack and give this bastard a good beating. Unexpectedly, Wei Xiao took action first. He landed a hard punch right on Wei He's nose bridge. Wei He staggered back a few steps, clutching his nose, shaking his head and shedding tears. Bending over and panting, Wei Xiao didn't give him any chance to recover. He kicked him down and punched him relentlessly. The commotion quickly drew the attention of countless people. The shrieks of maids and old women, the scolding voices of the Marquis of Guangping and his wife, the sounds of pulling people apart and hurling insults, all sorts of things mixed together. It made me open my eyes wide, cover my mouth, and watch with great excitement. The two were pulled apart. Wei He had blood all over his face, looking quite miserable. The lady of Guangping Marquis, with tears in her eyes, slapped Wei Xiao hard across the face. "Have you learned nothing of proper upbringing, you beast? How dare you strike so viciously? That is your younger brother. Wei Xiao let out a light laugh. He turned and staggered away. Hu Guangping coldly said, "Stop, apologize to your mother. I will fight for you to obtain this position as heir." Wei Xiao paused for a moment. "Give it to him. I don't want it. Brat, are you trying to infuriate me to death?" Marquis Guangping scolded furiously. "It's better that he doesn't want it, he doesn't deserve it." The Marquise Guangping said with malice in her voice. Wei Xiao let out a suppressed low groan from his throat. "Mother, this is the last time I call you mother." He turned and knelt on the ground. He banged his head 3 loud times on the floor. "Stand up and stride away." But under the moonlight, I saw his shadow trembling, and there was a moist gleam in his eyes. The lady of Guangping who cursed angrily behind him. "Get lost, if you leave, never come back." 14 By the Li River, Wei Xiao stood for a long time. "I can hardly stand any longer. Is he going to jump or not? If he jumps, I can still arrange a rescue. If he doesn't jump, I'll just go back." It's this indecisiveness that really wears you down. I can't hold on any longer. I took a deep breath and walked out. The river here is 2 feet deep. It looks calm on the surface, but underneath, there are hidden currents. If you jump, my people might not be able to rescue you. If you don't jump, go home, wash up, and get some sleep. He turned to look at me. His lips twitched. After a long while, he finally whispered softly, "Today, I've made a fool of myself in front of the princess." He saw me. Not too bad. I was watching with great excitement. It's just a bit regrettable that I couldn't go up and punch Wei He a couple of times myself. Next time, I'd better have someone put Wei He in a sack while I go and punch him a few times, just to get my satisfaction. "Thank you, princess, for always helping me. I'll never forget it." "May I ask one last favor of the princess? May I go and join the army? I have no home anymore. I want to go to another place to see if I can carve out a world and find a home." Such a pitiful request. How could I possibly refuse? I immediately agreed to him. Problem solved. No more trouble. "Okay. Here's 2 taels of silver. Go find an inn to stay at. Come find me in 3 days. I'll give you your military registration." He bowed to express his gratitude. As I left, I still reminded him, "Wei Xiao, your mother might have her reasons. There are always some strange and inexplicable things in this world. She might have been controlled by something. If she suddenly repents, you may choose not to forgive her. But please also consider what I've said today." Wei Xiao looked at me solemnly. After carefully thinking it over, he replied, "Thank you, princess, I understand." 15 A few days later, Wei Xiao obtained the official document. He immediately headed for the border. He likely harbored a murderous intent. Fighting bravely on the battlefield, he was wounded repeatedly, yet charged forward again and again, those wounds big and small. Even dogs would find them terrifying. And the memorial submitted by Marquis Guangping requesting that Wei He be named heir was thrown out by His Majesty the Emperor. The Emperor was furious. How dare a bastard from outside dare to usurp the title of the imperial heir? "If you do not want this title, then return it to me. I will give it to someone who truly deserves it." A few words defined Wei His nature, a bastard child from a concubine, and the Marquis of Guangping was demoted to a commoner, completely removed from the circle of noble families in the capital. The day the Marquis's plaque was taken down, the weather was even gloomier than the day the Prince of Duan's plaque was removed. The Marquis of Guangping and his wife came to blows. Lord Wei blamed Lady Wei for her womanly soft-heartedness, which had cost their family its noble title. Lady Wei angrily retorted that he, a grown man, had no backbone and only knew how to blame his wife when things went wrong. The two became completely estranged, and Wei He was deeply shaken. He was in a daze, unable to believe it. How could this be? It shouldn't be like this. System, help me. I'm willing to pay the price. Help me. Damn it. Why did I have to specify the princess back then? If I hadn't specified the princess, I could have soared to great heights with anyone else. That bitch, it's all because of Schwelling. If it weren't for her, how could I have had such improper thoughts about the princess? Schwelling was beaten for the first time. Wei He vented all his resentment on her. A weak woman. After venting, he drank a pot of wine and went to sleep. So he didn't know that Xueling was bleeding heavily. Their first child was thus lost. The next day upon waking, Xueling still lay weakly on the ground. Wei He glanced at her expressionlessly and said coldly, "Clean yourself up. Don't disgust others." Xueling was helped up by the maidservant. The maid cleaned up the bloodstains all over the floor, but the disdain in her eyes was hard to conceal. Yet, no one in the entire Marquis's household cared whether she lived or died. Her health improved a bit. She went alone to the well, sat there all night, and murmured to herself, "Princess, is this the price of betrayal? I truly deserve this." 3 years. Wei Xiao fought one victorious battle after another, but he was no longer called Wei Xiao. He asked me to erase his military registration, letting Wei Xiao die. He then became a disciple under General Chang, following him in campaigns everywhere, and became General Chang's son, Chang Yi. In just 3 short years, he rose from a mere soldier to a general. The day he returned to court after his campaign, the entire city welcomed him. I watched his resolute face from upstairs and couldn't help but smile. He raised his eyes and saw me. He also revealed a bright smile. He clasped his hands together towards me. I thought for a moment and waved my handkerchief at him. When he had an audience with my father clearly recognized him. General Chang praised him to my father. "Your Majesty, it's not that I'm boasting, but my son is truly outstanding, loyal, benevolent, filial, and honest. If he hadn't pursued the enemy for 100 miles and launched a surprise attack on their camp, this old bones of mine would have been left on the grassland. Your servant ventures to beg your Majesty to bestow some reward upon him. It is fine if no reward is given to me, but please, do reward my son." The emperor was pleased. Their victory secured the border's peace for 20 years. "Any reward is well deserved." He turned to me, who was hiding behind the curtain eavesdropping, and said, "Xuan, come out. What should I reward him with, according to you?" A mischievous glint flashed in his eyes. "I understand. Father must have come up with some strange idea. But he can't say it himself, so he needs to use my mouth to express it." I suddenly had a stroke of genius. "Father Emperor, you have taken back the title of Marquis of Guangping. It seems that the title has remained vacant ever since. Ha ha ha. Very well, since my son has spoken, I shall now grant you the title of Marquis of Guangping. You must diligently defend the frontier and safeguard the nation's gates for me. I shall surely live up to your Majesty's trust, and would face death 1,000 times without regret." Chang Yi bowed deeply. Like a jade mountain collapsing, the news spread outside the palace. Father Wei was stunned. He urgently inquired about who the new Marquis of Guangping was. Upon hearing the name Chang Yi, he was only dazed for a moment before screaming excitedly, "Chang Yi must be Wei Xiao. He must be my son, otherwise the emperor would not have granted him the title of Marquis of Guangping. I always said, how could he possibly die? The Wei family has an heir now. Ha ha ha." He squeezed through the crowd from the outside, watching the plaque of the Guangping Marquis mansion being hung up once again. Watching Chang Yi stride into the former Guangping Marquis mansion, he rushed forward eagerly to claim kinship. "Son, Xiao, it's your father." Tears streamed down his aged face as he gazed at Chang Yi with compassionate eyes. Chang Yi's expression remained utterly calm. "I don't know you." He strode into the Guangping Marquis's residence, closed the door, and cut off his father Wei's cries upon hearing the news. Wei's mother was stunned. She firmly denied her husband's words, but in the end, she remained doubtful. Taking advantage of Chang Yi's absence, she followed him and finally got a clear look at his face. She was struck as if by lightning. At the very moment she was about to confront Chang Yi, she froze in shock. "I guess she must have heard the voice of that so-called system, just like I did. Mission failed. Unbinding. All those controlled by mind-reading will be released from their puppet state. Host. Goodbye. Wei, his designated mind-reading ability has vanished." My mind instantly cleared, and my heart felt a wave of relief, as if a layer of restraint had been lifted. Meanwhile, the expression on Wei's mother's face grew even more dramatic. It seemed to be one of regret, like pain, like hatred, like sorrow. She wanted to scream. She clamped her mouth tightly shut. She was crying uncontrollably on the crowded street, staring blankly at Chang Yi's figure. She then turned around and left. Resolutely, after returning, she gave Wei He a severe beating. Wei He wailed like a ghost. Mother, why are you hitting me? What exactly did I do wrong? Wei's mother snapped. You bastard born out of wedlock, I'll hit you if I want to. What reason or excuse do you need? Wei's mother's family was well off and wealthy. She hired several tough guards to keep an eye on Wei He at all times. Wei He became the scapegoat for the entire Wei family from then on. Wei He lived through days where he was beaten twice every 3 days. However, he also had his own punching bag. Zueling, if it weren't for you, why would I have offended the princess? How could I have ended up in this situation? Zueling also began living a life of being beaten twice every 3 days. After her second miscarriage, she jumped into the well. When she woke up, she saw me. She stared at me blankly, then broke down in tears. Princess, I was wrong. I was terribly wrong. Shuang Wei cried along. You son of a bitch, you only dare to go after the princess, right? Have the guts to go after that bastard. You'll die and still have the princess bury you. Have the guts to go bury that dog of a man. Well said, but I feel a bit like laughing. I don't harbor any deep-seated hatred for Zueling. If there was any resentment, it faded long ago with that dream where she killed Wei He. I said calmly, you've died once, so the past is over. From now on, how to live is up to you to decide. Zueling stared at me blankly, her tears seemingly dried up. 3 days later, she said she wanted a kung fu master. I had Shuang Wei arrange it. 3 months later, Xueling returned to the Wei family. Wei He stared at her in shock, clearly having no idea she had once died. He sneered coldly. I thought you had run away with someone. What are you doing back here? You shameless woman. Can't you live without a man? Ha, just because I gave you a little food when you were young, you cling to me like a dog and refuse to leave. Even a dog isn't as lowly as you. Zueling calmly walked over to him. She slapped him hard across the face, then she kicked him in the groin. Wei He curled up like a shrimp on the ground, his eyes filled with terror as he glared at her, gritting his teeth and forcing out a few words between them. You wretched bitch, how dare you hit me? I'm your husband. Your breath is so stinky. Let me clean it for you. She spotted the spittoon on the ground at a glance. She picked up the spittoon and splashed it at Wei He. I was stunned, driven away by the stench. It's over. I can never come to see this Wei residence again. It's too filthy. From then on, Wei He began living the good life of getting beaten up 4 times every 3 days. I ran out and leaned against the wall. Retching, a handkerchief was handed over. I turned around and saw Chang Yi. He smiled at me. Princess, long time no see. I took the handkerchief and smiled slightly as well. Yes, long time no see, General Chang. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My husband has intermittent amnesia, meaning he forgets we are married every so often. After 3 years, I've had enough, so when he lost his memory again, I ran away. But I never expected that during the Lantern Festival, he would stop me and ask, Miss, are you betrothed? Seeing his nervous look, I pointed to the coiled bun of a married woman in my hair. He pursed his lips. Then are you missing a lover? I'm good-looking, strong and healthy, and, well, I'm good in bed too. My husband, Ji Lin, and I were married by the Emperor's decree. Before our wedding, I had never met him, only heard of his reputation for bravery, wisdom, and illustrious military achievements. I have no particular feelings about this marriage. As the daughter of the Prime Minister, I have no say in my own marriage. If it weren't him, it would be someone else. For 2 people without feelings, mutual respect is already good enough. After the wedding, although Ji Lin is rigid and dull by nature, our life together is quite satisfactory, and I am quite content with the intimate aspects of our relationship. I had thought life would continue on in this quiet, uneventful way, but unexpectedly, after he led troops into battle, everything changed that day. News came from the northwest. Our side had achieved a great victory, and there might be no more war for the next 10 years. But along with it came bad news. General Ji Lin had been injured, falling from his horse and hitting his head for several days in a row. I stayed by his bedside, fearing that if he became a fool, my good days would come to an end. But unexpectedly, after Ji Lin woke up, he didn't remember that we had gotten married. The first time he lost his memory, I rushed to his room, and he looked utterly incredulous. The second time he lost his memory was on an ordinary morning. He stared at me in Shock as I lay in bed. The third time he lost his memory was during an intimate moment. I watched his face turn from red to pale, as if he had committed some unforgivable act. Every time he loses his memory, it takes me a while to adjust and help him remember me. Strangely enough, for some reason, when he loses his memory, he only forgets everything about me, while everything else remains crystal clear in his mind. I suspect he's deliberately messing with me, otherwise, why would he forget only me? But that's just how it is. It's as if his brain was soaked in water, then fed to a pig. And he forgot me just like that. I'm a bit tired of having to do things from the past every time he loses his memory just to jog his recollection. I'm also tired of the way he treats me like a stranger after each memory loss. So, just before he was about to lose his memory again, I decided to go out and clear my mind. I found a time, kept it from Ji Lin, and gave instructions to everyone, have them not mention my existence after Ji Lin loses his memory, put away all my things, and keep me out of his sight. After everything was done, I left the house once Ji Lin had gone to court. Based on the timing of his previous memory loss, it was almost certain that Ji Lin would fall ill again upon his return. This time, as I expected, he lost his memory. During my time away from the general's residence, I visited famous places around the capital. My father was right. Whenever one feels unhappy, one should go out and see the scenery. After traveling for a while, my mood improved a lot, but I didn't plan to return to the general's residence immediately. First, I didn't want to see Ji Lin's rigid, icy demeanor as if he didn't know me. Second, the triennial lantern festival in the capital is approaching soon. Although I'm married, it's still fine to take a look at unmarried men just to satisfy my eyes. Instead of returning to the general's residence, I went back to the Prime Minister's mansion. I didn't tell my father about what had happened during this period. I lied to them, saying I just missed home and wanted to stay for a few days. Honestly, my parents' home is so much better than my in-laws. Everyone seems to think I've been living a hard life, so they give me the best of everything. These days are even better than before I got married. Looks like I should find more excuses to come back and stay in the future. Although Ji Lin hasn't treated me poorly, there's nothing more comfortable than living in my own home. During the Lantern Festival, I took my maid, Tsuelio, out to the streets. Under the glow of countless lanterns, the dazzling array of lights left me spellbound. The festival was bustling with crowds, with men and women, young and old, all dressed in their finest attire. Stalls of all kinds were neatly arranged, and the calls of vendors rose and fell in a lively chorus. I was a bit excited, weaving through the crowd with Tsuelio looking here and there. Under the Mingfeng Bridge, the handsome men and beautiful women of Chunhua Tower stood on boats, playing music and dancing gracefully. I watched without blinking, my gaze fixed intently. Someone tapped my shoulder. Turning around, I saw someone whose presence felt rather inauspicious at the moment. I looked at Ji Lin before me, somewhat surprised. Had they told him? I then glanced at Yi Qi, who had been sticking close behind Ji Lin all along. Yet, I didn't expect Yi Qi to also look at me with some surprise. Could it be that he remembered? Just as I was about to speak, Ji Lin asked me somewhat awkwardly, "Miss, are you betrothed?" My eyes widened instantly, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw Kui Liu and Yi Qi, their mouths agape as well. I'm a bit confused. Is this some kind of test? I pointed to the woman's bun on my head, indicating that I wasn't pretending to be a young girl outside to flirt with men, but Ji Lin looked conflicted, as if he had made some momentous decision. I felt a bit panicked and wanted to slip away. I had just taken 2 steps when Ji Lin grabbed my wrist. Then, "Are you in need of a sweetheart?" I paused, turning back to look at him in disbelief, while Tsuelio and Yi Qi also wore expressions as if they had eaten bitter herbs. Who would have thought that in my absence, Ji Lin would play such a game? Not receiving my response, Ji Lin cautiously spoke up, "I'm good-looking, strong, and healthy. And, I'm probably pretty good in bed too." I sized up Ji Lin, who shyly lowered his eyes, his ears turning crimson. A thought rose in my mind. I held back a laugh. "All right, see you tomorrow at Crane Tower." After saying that, I quickly took Tsuelio and left, afraid I wouldn't be able to hold back my laughter any longer, leaving Ji Lin standing there, grinning foolishly beside them. Yi Qi watched the delighted Ji Lin with a complicated expression. his face scrunched up into a knot. On the way, Tsuelio finally spoke up. Madam, you and the general, are you playing house? Ha ha ha, silly Tsuelio, he didn't forget we got married, did he? Now he wants to be my lover, so let's play along with him. In a few days, when I returned to the general's mansion, ha ha ha, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. I really want to see his reaction. Ha 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 ha. Tsuelio thought for a moment and couldn't help but purse her lips into a smile. Tsuelio, have them cooperate, especially Yi Chi. Yes, madam, are you heading out so early? Tsuelio helps me with my hair. Yes, have the carriage pass by the general's mansion later. The willow branches nodded not far from the entrance of the general's residence. I had the coachman stop and waited for Ji Yulin to return home from court. Before long, Ji Yulin appeared in my line of sight. I lifted the carriage curtain and stared at him. Ji Yulin sensed someone watching him and frowned as he looked toward the source of the gaze. Upon seeing who it was, his brow relaxed instantly, followed by a flush of red spreading across his ears. I saw Ji Yulin looking a bit flustered and couldn't help but let out a light chuckle. I signaled the coachman to drive on. Outside the window, Ji Yulin glanced around before hurrying toward the carriage alone. His steps, calm on the surface yet urgent, betrayed a hint of nervousness. A servant at the entrance of the general's mansion asked the left-behind Yi Chi in confusion, "Guard Yi, isn't that the madam's carriage? Has the madam returned?" Yi Chi wore a complicated expression and said nothing, only nodding. The carriage stopped not far away, and I sat inside, paying close attention to the commotion outside. The carriage curtain was pulled open, and Ji Yulin's face appeared before my eyes. He hesitated, cautiously looking at me. I felt incredibly at ease. It was the first time I had ever seen Ji Yulin with such an expression. Usually, his face was as cold as could be. I let him get into the carriage. The carriage continued on its way. The atmosphere in the carriage was somewhat quiet. I didn't speak. Instead, Ji Yulin was the first to break the silence. Jiao, are we going directly to Crane Tower for the meal? Jiao, I raised an eyebrow. Ji Yulin had never called me that before. He always addressed me as wife in a very cold tone. General Ji Yu, why did you seek me out to be your lover? I always thought someone like you would be the most rule-abiding. Since the plot has already progressed this far, I definitely have to put on an act. I looked at him with a serious expression. If my husband finds out, I'm done for. Do you have a plan, General? The flush on Ji Yulin's ears instantly faded. He lowered his head. I apologize, I didn't think this through properly. I'll have someone take care of it. After this, I'll keep my distance from Jiao. Madam, if your husband ever ignores you or treats you poorly in the future, madam, you could consider a divorce. What's going on? Why won't we meet after this? What husband? What divorce? How utterly baffling. I was a bit dazed, and then I saw Tsuelio blinking at me from behind the curtain. I understood in an instant. I adjusted my sitting posture. General, do you like me? Ji Yulin raised his head to look at me, the redness from his ears now spreading to his face. He said firmly, yes, I have feelings for you, Lu Jiao. I opened my eyes wide, staring at the innocent yet serious Ji Yulin before me, my heart pounding wildly. Ji Yulin has feelings for me. How could I not have known? I kept looking Ji Yulin up and down, thinking, no way, you've been hiding this so deep. You like me, then why have you been so cold since we got married, playing hard to get? Before, the Prime Minister's residence was always selecting a husband for you. I originally wanted to give it a try too, but with the frequent wars back then, I put that thought aside. Now that things have settled down, I thought I could use my military achievements to ask the Emperor for a marriage decree. But I never expected that Jiao had already gotten married. I sent my men to inquire, and they said your husband doesn't treat you very well. Ji Yulin paused. I did this because I wanted Jiao to know that if he treats you poorly, you can have the courage to choose someone else. My mind went completely blank, unsure of what to say. Then why the previous coldness? Was he afraid I would be heartbroken if he died on the battlefield? Perhaps because I remained silent. Ji Yulin added, if Jiao is unwilling, you can pretend you never met me. I had felt a bit guilty about tricking him into becoming my lover in the first place. Now it feels even more unreal. I coughed and cleared my throat. Ji Yulin, There's a dish at Helu that I really like. Would you like to try it? As soon as the words left my mouth, I saw Jiu Lin's eyes light up. This person. The carriage came to a stop at Crane Tower. I stood up to get off, but Jiu Lin held me back. Jiao Jiao, are we just going in like this? It won't look good if others see us. I frowned. What? Did he expect me to sneak in quietly? You go upstairs first, wait a while, and I'll climb in through the window. It wouldn't be good if I ruined your reputation. I looked at Jiu Lin, who was muttering to himself, how could this person be so adorable? Like a fool, I entered Crane Tower with Tsuelio. Once inside, the shopkeeper stepped forward and clasped his hands in greeting. Madam General, the room you reserved yesterday is ready. Please follow me, madam. It's been a long time since you last dined at Crane Tower. Have you been very busy lately? No, I went out traveling for a while. That's wonderful to hear. The innkeeper opened the room door and gestured for her to enter. Madam, are you dining alone? The shopkeeper handed over the menu. 2 people. All right, I wonder who the other guest might be. I'll have someone go down to greet them. I glanced at the menu in my hand. No need to greet them. He'll be climbing in through the window in a moment. Okay, After ordering the dishes, I handed the menu to Tsuelio, signaling her to take the shopkeeper away. As I picked up the teacup, I heard a noise coming from the window ahead. Popped up, revealing a set of bright white teeth as it grinned at me. I smiled. It seems the fall last time was too severe, really turned him into a fool recently. There have been rumors in the capital that a thief has come to Crane Tower, with people occasionally climbing up and down by the windows. Some even informed the innkeeper of Crane Tower to be cautious. The innkeeper, who knew the truth, wiped the sweat from his forehead, thinking to himself, who knows what that couple is up to one day. I sat in the Crane Tower waiting for him as usual. I was drinking tea by the window when Jiu Lin climbed in through it. He walked over with a beaming smile, handed me a box, and then sat down nervously, watching for my reaction. I opened the box. Inside was a white jade hairpin adorned with camellias. I've seen this hairpin before, in Jiu Lin's study. Do you like it? I've always wanted to give it to you, but I never found the right opportunity. I didn't speak, just caressed the jade hairpin in my hand. Jiao Jiao, I didn't respond, carefully putting the jade hairpin away. I stood up and walked over to Jiu Lin, looking down at him. Jiu Lin seemed a bit flustered. If you don't like it, it's okay, I'll get you a new one. I leaned down and silenced him with a kiss. Jiu Lin hadn't reacted yet. Not moving a muscle, I bit his lip hard, my tongue prying open his lips and slipping inside. Only then did Jiu Lin snap out of it, turning the tables and taking control. After it was over, Jiu Lin pulled me into his embrace. I couldn't see his face, but I could see the corner of his mouth curling up. I took a moment to steady myself. Jiu Lin, I miss my husband. As soon as the words left my mouth, I could feel Jiu Lin's body stiffen, and the tight embrace he had just held me in began to loosen. I took advantage of the loosening hold to stand up. I'm leaving. From now on, we might have to meet under different circumstances. I picked up the box he gave me. I'll take this jade hairpin. Goodbye. Even as I walked out the door, Jiu Lin didn't react. Oh no, did I go too far? Jiu Lin sat motionless for a long while before finally moving his stiff neck, dragging his body as he climbed out through the window. Upon returning to the general's residence, Yi Qi stepped forward. General, MN. Jiu Lin nodded and walked straight toward his room. He then instructed Yi Qi, bring 2 bottles of wine. Yes. Yi Qi brought the wine and placed it on the table, looking at Jiu Lin, who sat slumped in his chair with a somewhat dejected air. He thought to himself, did his wife scold him? Jiu Lin reached out, opened the wine pot, and was about to take a drink. Yi Qi quickly stopped him. General, please don't drink in the room. How about you drink in the courtyard tomorrow? No, I mean, General, you should drink in the courtyard. The smell of alcohol will linger in the room and make it unpleasant to sleep in later. Jiu Lin said nothing, picked up the wine, and headed straight for the courtyard. The sky was bright with daylight. Jiu Lin rubbed his temples, hearing the commotion outside, calling out for someone. After waiting for a while, no one came because of last night's drinking. Jiu Lin's head throbbed painfully. Somewhat angrily, he opened the door and found all the maids and servants busy tidying up the mansion. Ji Yulin's fingers, which had been massaging his temples, came to a halt as he casually grabbed a passerby. What's going on here? Is the general's residence changing hands? The servant lowered his head, reporting to the general, the madam is about to return, and everyone is busy with the big cleanup. Madam, what madam? Ji Yulin looked around the courtyard in confusion at everyone bustling about. Hey, it's your wife. You'll find out in a moment, General. Her, my wife. Ji Yulin's voice instantly rose a notch. Where's Yi Qi? Tell him to get over here. Ji Yulin's heart was pounding wildly, a sense that something was about to happen creeping over him. When Yi Qi walked into the hall with a smile, he saw Ji Yulin staring at him with the serious expression. Yi Qi lowered the corners of his mouth and bowed. General, Yi Qi, I. Ji Yulin's fingers tapped slowly on the table. Have a wife? Ji Yulin knew there was something wrong with his mind, some memories were missing, but no one told him he had a wife. Hearing the unfriendly tone, Yi Qi wiped the non-existent sweat from his forehead. Yes, who arranged this? The emperor. Why wasn't I informed? Did I, the general, agree to this marriage? Ah, who is this young lady? I'll have a good talk with her. Ji Yulin stood up and loudly questioned Yi Qi. Yi Qi swallowed hard. It was you, General, who sought it yourself. It's the eldest daughter of the Prime Minister's household, Lu Jiao. What do you mean I sought it? Nonsense. Her, the Prime Minister's daughter, Lu Jiao. Ji Yulin's astonished voice nearly echoed throughout the hall at that moment. A clear and beautiful voice came. What, Ji Yulin? Are you not satisfied? I had just stepped into the general's mansion when I heard Ji Yulin's surprised voice inside. Then I saw Ji Yulin standing there, dumbfounded. His eyes were filled with excitement and disbelief. This kid likes me so obviously. How come I never noticed it in daily life? Long time no see. Husband, did you sleep well last night? I asked him with a smile. Ji Yulin couldn't hold back his smile, the corners of his mouth raised high. I watched him wanting to rush over and hug me, but for some reason he stopped in his tracks, looking at me with a bit of restraint. Seeing him like that, I felt a little like laughing. I took the initiative to walk up and hug him. Just as I wrapped my arms around his waist, he pulled me tightly into his embrace. Hearing him whisper something about what was true, I was just about to ask what was true, but I was interrupted by his tight embrace. For a while after that, he was like a little puppy. Wherever I go, he follows. Even when eating, he holds my hand. He didn't even ask about the times I lied to him before, completely immersed in an indescribable atmosphere. I can't quite figure it out. If he likes me this much, why did he treat me that way before? I can't really let him worry about me just because I'm afraid of dying on the battlefield. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became, but there was nothing I could do. He had lost his memory. Even if I asked him, he wouldn't be able to tell me anything. At night, after washing up, I sat in front of the mirror combing my hair. I watched Ji Yulin sitting upright behind me. I looked at him through the mirror. Ji Yulin, why haven't you washed up yet? I'm going to sleep. His eyes lit up. Then I hurried out to wash up. By the time he returned, I was already lying in bed, lost in thought. I looked at him, and he pursed his lips, looking back at me. What, don't want to sleep with me tonight? Taking your sweet time? No, there isn't. Ji Yulin slowly walked over and sat on the edge of the bed. Then he carefully lay down. Seeing him like this, my urge to tease him welled up again. I turned on my side, propping my head up with my hand. As I looked at him, my gaze slowly drifted from the top of his head down to his lips. I heard him swallow, his Adam's apple bobbing. I reached out to touch his Adam's apple. Ji Yulin, I missed you so much while I was away. Did you miss me? Ah, I forgot. You've lost your memory, even forgot about marrying me, and you made me put on a whole act with you. Ji Yulin's lips trembled, his breathing grew rapid. Sure. I pressed my hand against his lips. Don't speak. My hand moved from his lips, slowly caressing his Adam's apple, then his chest, his abs, and finally downward. Before I could touch, it was caught by a hand. Jiao. I looked at his flushed face. What's wrong? Watching him like this, I gave a mischievous smile. I leaned down and blew a breath into his ear, whispering softly, if you can't hold back, then don't. As soon as the words left my mouth, I was pinned down by a powerful force. The next morning, As soon as I opened my eyes, I noticed a bright, gleaming gaze beside me. I didn't look back, only stared at the bed curtains before me. Tears silently streamed down my heart. I had gone too far. Jiao Jiao, a loud voice rang in my ears, and from its tone alone, I could tell he was overjoyed. Just woke up. Feeling the discomfort in my body, a sense of imbalance washed over my heart. I glanced at him, he caught my gaze and called out to me even more excitedly. If he had a tail, it would be soaring to the sky right now. Jiao Jiao, how are you feeling? I hummed in response. Not bad. Looking into his bright, shining eyes, a wicked thought crossed my mind. It's nothing serious. Actually, last night was just SOSO. It's good that it's nothing serious. The words abruptly cut off. A few seconds passed, and still there was no movement. I turned my head to look at him, my eyes widening slightly. I saw him looking utterly shattered, his eyes rimmed red, the tail that had been about to fly up just moments ago now drooping down. Jiu Lin noticed me looking over and quickly averted his gaze. Ordinary? What's ordinary? He was asking a question he already knew the answer to. I pretended to think, it's just. Before I could finish, his tears began to fall. I'm sorry, Jiao Jiao, I didn't expect. He stepped forward and buried his head in the crook of my neck, sobbing softly from time to time. I curled the corner of my mouth, secretly pleased. Tilda, so satisfying. Tilda. He, the calm, reserved man, turned into a whimpering puppy. I pat his head to comfort him. It's fine, much better than before. As soon as the words were spoken, the crying grew louder. I never knew he could be this amusing before. Ha ha ha. Today, Minister Zhong from the Ministry of Personnel invited Jiu Lin to discuss some matters. After we finished tidying up and left the room, Jiu Lin still wore that pitiful expression. All right, let's go quickly, I urged him, and he glanced at me as if wanting to say something, but holding back, he turned and left. I smoothed my sleeves and went to have someone tidy up the jewelry and clothes I had taken with me earlier. In the blink of an eye, the morning had passed. At noon, I sat in the pavilion, waiting for Jiu Lin's return. I thought about explaining things to him. After all, I couldn't let him stay wronged forever. Madam, the general has returned. A maid beside me stepped forward to remind me. I nodded. I caught sight of Jiu Lin's figure. I sat there waiting for Jiu Lin to come over, but I never expected that upon seeing me, Jiu Lin paused for a moment and then walked straight past. I narrowed my eyes, watching his sorry excuse for a departure. It seems he has regained his memory. I got up unhappily and returned to my room. I didn't wait for him to eat and directly had the dishes served. During the meal, Jiu Lin walked over. Seeing that I had started eating alone, he didn't say anything and simply picked up his bowl and chopsticks to eat. I held my breath, waiting for him to say something. I stared straight at him, hoping for some kind of reaction, but he avoided my gaze, pretending not to see me looking at him. He even served me food without saying a word. That really made me laugh. The puppy from yesterday was still cute. Jiu Lin, I spoke coldly, wanting to talk to him, but he quickly finished chewing the food in his mouth. Wife, Minister Zhong still has something to discuss with me. Take your time eating, I'm off. With that, he hurriedly left. I tightened my grip on the chopsticks in my hand. You've got some nerve, Jiu Lin. Just you wait and see if I'll let you keep your thoughts to yourself. How dare you put on an act in front of me in the evening? I sipped my tea while watching Jiu Lin walk through the door. Sit, I have something for you. Jiu Lin obediently took a seat. I casually handed him a piece of paper I was holding. Jiu Lin read the words on the paper, his eyes widening in an instant. He turned to look at me in disbelief. Yes, what I handed him was a divorce agreement. His lips moved slightly. Why? I frowned. Why, aren't you well aware of it? I rolled my eyes inwardly. He clearly likes me to no end, yet he's putting on such an act. If I don't push him a little, how are we supposed to live together in the future? Jiu Lin's eyes widened even more, with a glimmer of tears flickering in them. Just because of that thing. Yes, I nodded in agreement. Jiu Lin, upon hearing my response, seemed to crumble even more. He stood up and tore the divorce agreement in his hands to pieces. I will work hard. Jiao Jiao, please don't bring this up again. I have something to attend to. I must go now. After saying this, Jiu Lin stumbled out of the room. Effort? What effort? I thought about it, puzzled. That effort. Sigh, it's been misunderstood. These past few days, Ji Lin has been avoiding me, and we haven't really run into each other. TSK, you little rascal, I've arranged a little show for you. Just wait and see. These past few days, Ji Lin has been returning to the mansion very late. I calculated the timing and, together with the people in the mansion, put on a show just as Ji Lin was about to return. I hired a man to escort me back to the mansion. We even put on a reluctant farewell act, and exchanged gifts along the way. During this time, I noticed Ji Lin's carriage parked in a corner. It was about time, so I signaled to the man that it was time to end. The man caught my gaze and bid me farewell with polite courtesy. I pretended to be reluctant to see him go, waiting at the gate until his figure disappeared from sight before reluctantly stepping back into the mansion. Out of the corner of my eye, I glanced at the carriage in the corner. If you keep pretending to be calm like this, Ji Lin, I'm really going to leave. After entering the mansion, I started waiting for Ji Lin to come find me on his own. I waited and waited until the sky grew dark, but he still didn't come. Suelio said that Ji Lin had just entered the study in a daze and hadn't come out since. I knocked on the table. No, that would ruin everything. If he won't come, I'll go find him myself. Just as I stood up, the door was pushed open with a bang. What came into view was Ji Lin, his cheeks flushed red. I sat back down again, gesturing for Suelio and the others to leave. After closing the door, Ji Lin slowly walked forward, half kneeling and burying his face in my lap. Jiao Jiao, don't you want me anymore? His aggrieved words carried the scent of alcohol. I've been studying hard to make you more comfortable, but that pretty boy doesn't look like he knows how. Ji Lin paused for a moment. Would you like to give it a try? I had just started to speak when Ji Lin reached out and wrapped his arms around my waist. Jiao Jiao, I don't want to separate from you. Please don't abandon me. Sobs came in waves just as I was about to speak. Ji Lin continued, if Jiao Jiao really likes him, you can bring him into the mansion. Just don't divorce me, please. Jiao Jiao, don't divorce me. I've worked so hard. My eyes widened. What followed was a pang of heartache and guilt. I shouldn't have toyed with him like that. Ji Lin, how could he humble himself to such an extent? My heart softened once again. Do you like me? I asked him softly. I like you. No, I love you. Jiao Jiao. I pursed my lips. If you like me, why do you usually act so indifferent toward me? Why were you so cold on the day you regained your memory? No, I wasn't indifferent. Ji Lin nuzzled against my waist. Before the wedding, I found out that Jiao Jiao liked someone with the character of Minister Li. Minister Li, it seems there was such a thing. At that time, my father and the others were busy finding me a match because they didn't want me to enter the palace. So they asked me what kind of person I liked at that time. I didn't have any specific candidate in mind for a future husband. I only hoped for a respectful and harmonious relationship, without any major demands. I just wanted someone who was resolute, led a simple life, didn't restrict me too much, had no messy entanglements, and came from a harmonious family. Someone had recommended Minister Li to me before, and Minister Li gives off an icy, indifferent, and unflappable impression toward everything. It seems someone mistakenly thought I liked that type, but that still shouldn't have made him distance himself from me to this extent. Back then, the war situation was not optimistic. I was afraid that if Jiao Jiao truly cared for me, and I died on the battlefield, wouldn't that leave her to live the rest of her life in sorrow? So I'm sorry, Jiao Jiao, for keeping my distance, but thankfully, the Northwest is now at peace. Would you be willing to give me a chance? My heart was pounding wildly. I don't like someone like Minister Li. I patted his head and continued, I like you just the way you are. As soon as the words left my mouth, I felt someone freeze up. But there's something wrong with my mind. Fut, ha ha ha, but I just like you when you're all dazed and confused from amnesia. You loved me a lot when you had amnesia too, didn't you? Ji Lin raised his head, and I could still see the tears glistening in the corners of his eyes. He stared at me blankly. Then that person today, I hired someone to act it out to trick you. Otherwise, why would you be here now? Sniffling and explaining things to me. Ji Lin's face flushed even redder. So, Jiao Jiao is willing to give me a chance. My eyes darkened slightly as I stroked his face. What do you think? I looked him up and down. Didn't you say to let me try? How about now? Ji Lin's eyes lit up for a moment, but then, as if thinking of something, that light faded away. But I'm just average. That's also a lie. You're amazing, and you've learned something new recently, so you must be even more amazing. At the end of my words, I whispered quietly into his ear as expected. His eyes lit up again, even brighter than before. Extra story: the next day, I didn't wake up until the sun was already high in the sky. The person beside me had already left for the morning court session. I rubbed my sore lower back. Sigh. People who have just learned something new are truly different. After rubbing for a while, I stretched lazily, reaching under my pillow to feel something. Pulling it out to look, it was a book. On it was written, Nyan Jiao Jiao, Ji Lin's. I opened it and saw that it recorded everything that had happened since he lost his memory today. As soon as I woke up, everyone said I must have hit my head. Otherwise, how could I have forgotten my wife? How could I have gotten married? I would never marry anyone except Jiao Jiao. I felt a bit angry. How could I, without my memory, have married someone so casually? If I don't love her, wouldn't marrying her be irresponsible? Besides, how could I just marry anyone? Didn't I promise myself I wouldn't marry anyone but Jiao Jiao? I said to myself then. As I looked up, I saw Jiao Jiao, the one I'd been dreaming of day and night, standing right in front of me. Everyone was calling her madam. I stood there in a daze until her warm hand touched my face. It took me a moment to snap out of it. Holy crap, Ji Lin, you really did an amazing job. Something happened today. Ji Lin, actually ended up sleeping in the same bed as Lu Jiao. I couldn't believe it. I thought I had gone mad with longing, sneaking into the Prime Minister's residence in the middle of the night to steal her away. I watched as Jiao Jiao woke up, too afraid to meet her gaze, but I never expected that Jiao Jiao would roll over right into my arms. I froze, not daring to move a muscle. It wasn't until I saw this notebook that I realized I had lost my memory. This must have made Jiao Jiao very sad. I lost my memory again, and after losing it, I saw myself kissing Jiao Jiao. Isn't this offending her? I immediately pushed Jiao Jiao away and ran out in panic. Later, Yiqi handed me this notebook, and only then did I learn everything. Ji Lin, you must always keep this book in your pocket from now on, and never let Jiao Jiao feel sad. Ha ha ha. It's really true. I really married Jiao Jiao when I touched this book that day. I thought everything written in it was just my delusion. It's all Yiqi's fault, saying Jiao Jiao got married, and not a single person mentioned Jiao Jiao when I asked around. It really broke my heart. They even said Jiao Jiao's husband treats her poorly. How could I ever treat Jiao Jiao badly? I just want to hold her close to my heart, but thankfully, it was just a joke. Jiao Jiao played on me. Ji Lin, when will you ever get your mind sorted out? You were already a bit dull in personality, and now with a mind that's not quite right, isn't that even less likely to win Jiao Jiao's affection? I've decided, until I'm cured, I'll memorize this notebook thoroughly, so that even if I lose my memory, the moment I see Jiao Jiao or think of her, I'll be able to recite it by reflex. Poor Jiao Jiao, having a husband with such a troubled mind. Last night, Jiao Jiao said she likes me. Hehe, not someone like Minister Li, she likes someone like me. Why didn't I realize it earlier? That way, Jiao Jiao might fall in love with me very soon. Hey, but she shouldn't fall in love with me too soon. Otherwise, if I die, what will happen to Jiao Jiao? Now is the perfect time to fall in love with me. But I'm missing out on a lot of intimate moments with Jiao Jiao. Last night Jiao Jiao kept praising me for being amazing. I'll be even better in the future. I even envy Jiao Jiao for having such an incredible husband like me. However, I envy myself even more for having Jiao Jiao as my wife. Fool, I gently traced the handwriting on it, placing the book back in its original spot. I sat up, just about to call for someone. The door swung open with a bang. The newcomer's eyes crinkled into a smile. Jiao Jiao, my dear wife, I'm back. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.